What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, everybody heard the clip by now of Terence Bud Crawford, pound for pound king, making a statement that Errol the Truth Spence Jr. is not a Hall of Famer. And he stated that if Errol Spence was to retire right now, why would he be in the Hall of Fame? Right? And he says he's a one division world champion. With that said, he says that Terence Crawford states that Errol Spence beat Kell Brook when Kell Brook had the eye injury. He beat Sean Porter. He says he chasing what I already did. The thing about it is that Errol Spence beat Kell Brook before you beat Kell Brook. So if he beat a damaged goods Kell Brook, then what does that say about the version of Kell Brook you beat? Who Errol Spence broke his other orbital bone, right? So when Kell Brook went up in weight, he challenged Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Errol Spence was his IBF mandatory challenger. They gave him a pass. He fought against Gennady Golovkin, and his left eye socket was broke. 9 months later, he fights Errol Spence. Errol Spence breaks his right eye socket. So by the time Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence had, Kell Brook. Kell Brook had 2 broken orbital bones on both sides. But he had some victories. Understand what Terence Crawford is stating, that Kell Brook had gotten some victories under his belt and got healthy by the time he fought him. When Errol Spence fought him, he was coming directly off the injury. Okay. But nonetheless, he still had 2 major eye injuries by the time he fought Terence Crawford. Then he states that he's a one-division champion. Well, here's the thing. My argument why Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. Because Errol Spence beat Sean Porter. He beat Kell Brook for his first title opportunity in the UK in hostile environment. He beat Mikey Garcia, who was a 4-division champion and a top 5 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. He also stopped Yordenis Ugas, who had dominated Manny Pacquiao, and he beat Danny Garcia handedly. Yes, he's a one-division champion, but you got to keep in mind, Mikey Garcia, Hall of Famer. Sean Porter, Hall of Famer. Danny Garcia, Hall of Famer. They're all in his division, and he beat them in his division. Now he came up against you, Terence Crawford, and he lost drastically. But he beat Hall of Famers, 3 Hall of Famers. And he beat Lamont Peterson, who's a borderline Hall of Famer. Now, here's the thing. To make the argument that Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. He beat Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard. And he had, he beat Mugabe, right? Those are 3 big names, Hall of Famers. He never left the division. Arturo Thunder Gotti is known for having competitive, action-packed fights, not beating Hall of Famers, competing against them, but losing. And he's known for his trilogy with Irish Mickey Ward. That's it. Arturo Gotti is a Hall of Famer. He hadn't beaten the level of opposition that Errol Spence beat. Roberto Duran himself. When you look at Roberto Duran is 1-4 against the other greats and legends in his time. Roberto Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard. But then he lost in every way possible. And he's considered a legend and a Hall of Famer. Because he jumped up, he's a 4-division champion. That labels him a Hall of Famer. But the level of opposition, he beat Iran Barkley, and he was considered one of the best lightweights ever. But when he fought the absolute best of his era, he lost in every way possible. When he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, he quit. When he fought against Tommy Hearns, he got brutally knocked out. When he fought against Marvin Hagler, he got decisioned. And when he fought against Wilfred Benitez, he got absolutely outclassed and lost a unanimous decision. So he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard twice. Not only, this is another thing. He lost to Sugar Ray Leonard when he quit. And then he tried to rectify that again, and he lost again, unanimous decision. So he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard twice. His claim to fame is the first fight beating Sugar Ray Leonard. And then jumping up and beating Iran Barkley. But he's considered a legend, and he lost in every way possible. He quit, he got brutally knocked out, he got outclassed by Wilfred Benitez, he got brutally knocked out by Tommy Hearns, he quit against Sugar Ray Leonard, he got decisioned by Marvin Hagler, and he's considered a legend. Nobody denies Roberto Duran's legacy. How many absolute first ballot Hall of Famers did Roberto Duran beat prior to that? And he's a legend. Again, Errol Spence beat Sean Porter. Errol Spence beat Mikey Garcia. Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia. And he beat Danny Garcia coming off a 14-month layoff and suffering a horrific car accident. He stopped Yordenis Ugas, who dominated Manny Pacquiao. Yes, he lost to Terence Crawford in a dramatic way, but Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. Arturo Gatti is a Hall of Famer. I mean, we got to start making this make sense. Sean Porter was in action-packed fights, and he's a two-time world champion. He beat Andre Berto. He beat Devin Alexander. I mean, we got to put this into context, people. Errol Spence is a Hall of Famer. I disagree with Terence Bud Crawford. He's a Hall of Famer. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out, man. But drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.